Hi sir, good afternoon. My name is Aaron Paul Requis under the section of LFCA 322 and 052. So, ito po yung video ko with regards of things that I learned for the whole CPCDI 8 or Drug Education and Vice Control for the whole time. So, yeah, sa first part or sa chapter 1 ng buong trime, we learn different kinds of drugs. So, kagaya ng mga marijuana or we know as cannabis. So, we're able to identify 3 different types of cannabis. And yung una is yung sativa, indica, cannabis sativa, cannabis indica, cannabis rhodiolasis. Tapos, yun po, actually right now, I do have my notes here in my laptop and yeah, ito yung mga summary or bullet topics that I learned sa subject nito buong trime. Then, yun, we're able to know and identify how those drugs was made or paano nagiging droga or illegal drugs or dangerous drugs yung mga cannabis or marijuana na nabanggit ko. And also, aside from marijuana, we're able to identify or to know what is opium, morphine, heroin, cocaine na galing sa coca plants, then methamphetamine, and then those hallucinogens drugs. And yun, based on my notes, we do have also common hallucinogens drugs. Hallucinogens drugs is dangerous drug siya na tinitik na nagli-lead for hallucination, and kagaya ng ayahuasca, tapos yung DMT or dimethyl dimethyltryptamine and or the DMT, tapos yung LSD which is the lysergic acid, diethylamide rather. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Then yun, basta LSD, tapos yun nga yung marijuana or the cannabis, tapos mescaline, and then yung PCP at saka yung psilocybin. So those are the common hallucinogens na natitake na nagkakos ng hallucination sa mga gumagamit doon. Then sa subject na to, we're able to identify also laws or legal environment or not totally legal. I mean, di ko alam kung paano ipapaliwanag, pero yung mga batas na sumasakop with regards of using dangerous drugs. Dangerous drugs. Like, yun nga, the first one is the Dangerous Drug Act of 1972, which is RA 6425. Then the Presidential Decree 1619, the volatile substances. And then the most recent one is the RA 9165, Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Doon sa mga batas na yun, naka-indicate yung mga penalties. Tapos naka-indicate doon yung mga specification ng mga drugs under cover ng mga batas na yun. Tapos yung mga pinagbabawal, like for example sa pag-import and export. Tapos yeah, everything that goes with using dangerous drugs and how people being addicted with dangerous drugs, it was covered by those laws. Okay, then the next one is we're able to know the identification and examination of dangerous drug, like kapag nagkaroon ng bypass or may mga nakumpiska ng mga droga, syempre dinadaan natin yun ng examination, ng forensic examination. Inaalam natin kung anong klase ng droga yon. Then at the same time, yung kilo or yung dami or yung amount ng droga na nakuha. And then aside from that, yun, dinadaan natin siya sa forensic examination process. Like hinihimay-himay natin kung anong epekto nun sa tao, tapos kung bakit siya nagiging bawal as dangerous drug. So kasi minsan may nangyayari na may nahuhuli tayo, may nakukuha tayong drugs, then unfortunately we're able to know through forensic examination na okay, ano lang pala yun, tawas lang pala yung nakuha, o kaya asin lang yung nakuha. So that's the reason why there's also identification and examination of dangerous drugs once na may nakuha tayong droga during bypass or either for our operations. Then on this subject also, we're able to learn and understand the administration and metabolism sa kung paano tinitake ang drugs, sa kung paano mamahalo siya sa bloodstream ng tao. Okay, the first one is inhaling, sinisinghot, then injection, talagang diretsong itinuturok sa bloodstream or sa mga ugat, either dito, or kaya dito. So yeah, injection, diretso sa ugat. Then next is snorting. So parang inhaling din siya pero snorting, diretso talaga siya sa bloodstream natin. Then buccal and suppositories. Tapos aside from that, we're able to know the meaning of drug paraphernalia or devices, items, accessories na ginagamit to take drugs. And sa subject na to, mas nag-ano tayo sa paraphernalia na ginagamit sa marijuana, because here in the Philippines, marijuana is the most common drugs that people was taking at all. And aside from that, karamihan ng mga gumagamit dyan is mga high school, mga kabataan. Kaya yun, yun talaga mas ano dito sa Pilipinas. So ayun, we're able to know the paraphernalia that's used for marijuana, such as marijuana joints, spliffs, and yung blunts, and then yung marijuana pipes, yung bilog lang siya, spliffs, and pipes, pieces, and bowls, then yung bongs, tapos yung bubbler, and then yung grinder na ginagamit para mapino yung marijuana after niya matuyo, tapos yung vaporizers para at least masinghot siya kung ayaw mong gumamit ng pipe na kung saan sisindihan mo. Then we do there's also marijuana dabbing na ginagamit as paraphernalia for marijuana. Then aside from that, or aside from those things sa drug education and vice control, we're able to tackle also yung mentality or psychological effects, and then also kung inalam natin kung bakit ang tao gumagamit ng droga, either illegal or yung legal drugs like the medication drugs. So medication drugs was used based sa prescription ng doctor dahil siguro may sakit ka. So yun talaga mismong gamit ng medical drugs. But for dangerous drugs, we're able to identify why people taking dangerous drugs. First is emotional. Okay, kasi we cannot deny that people are so much emotional, and also yung mga kabataan, and alam naman natin na karaniwang gumagamit ng mga drugs at naapektuhan is yung mga kabataan. So because of emotions like feeling depressed and to be feel good, and also para ma-unwind. So that's the reason why emotional is the main reason kung bakit madaming gumagamit. Then next one is yung physical, kasi they want to be feel better, naisip nila na, or na-influencean sila na siguro kapag gumamit ako nito mas gagaan yung pagramdam ko. Then meron naman na usap-usapan na kapag gumamit ako nito, kapag gumamit ako ng marijuana, kapag gumamit ako ng cocaine or any kind of drugs, pwede akong tumaba kasi para siyang vitamins ng katawan ko. So yung ibang mga payat and mahina ang katawan at mahina yung resistensya, they are trying to use drugs because of that, physically. Okay, then the next is psychological. Like yung mga taong, yung psychological and emotional, almost they are the same. Okay, but for the psychological kasi is naghahanap sila ng magpapaboost ng ano nila, kakayanan nila. Okay? For example is yung mga taong mahiyain, mababang self-esteem, at saka nadi-discourage. Okay? Tapos, because of that, they are being influenced to use dangerous drugs or illegal drugs. Then, kapag gumamit sila nun, yun na, kumakapal na yung muka, nawawala na yung hiya. Then, ano sila, masyado silang proud at saka paano ba i-explain nun? Basta parang ano nila, feeling nila kaya nilang gumawa, to do better things kapag nakagamit sila ng drugs. Kasi nga ano sila, mas motivated sila kapag gumagamit ng drugs. Mas lumalakas yung loob, yun. Mas malakas yung loob nila kapag nakagamit ng drugs. So again, those are the possible reasons why people take dangerous drugs or illegal drugs. Then now, let's go ahead and identify how they become addicted. On this subject, sa subject na to, we're able to identify na nagiging addicted sila because they want to feel good, they want to feel better, to do better, and because of curiosity and social pressure na rin ng mga taong nakapaligid sa kanila. Tapos, after that, natutunan din natin yung mga crimes related to drug use, such as doctor shopping, which is para makagamit ka ng droga, lumalapit ka sa mga doktor to have prescription. Kasi yung marijuana, illegal siya, right? But we do have regulations on how marijuana will be used with prescription. Specific prescription lang from specific doctors, special doctors rather. Ang tawag yata dun is special prescription. Basta yun nga, inaabuso yun ng mga drug addict, okay, para makagamit sila ng marijuana legally. So yun, doctor shopping, which is nagbabayad sila ng doktor para bigyan sila ng prescription or reseta to use that. Then drug abuse, one of the crimes with drugs related. Then drug distribution, then drug assault, child abuse, prostitutions, and rape. Then here are the crimes na kung saan influenced by drugs yung mga suspect. Okay? Tapos andito yung mga percentage. Sabi 24.2% is for crime of violence. So 24.2% is ng crime of violence is influenced by drugs. Tapos 30% ng crimes with regards of rapes and sexual assault is influenced by drugs. Tapos sa robbery, 23% ng robbery, ng mga nagkukumit ng robbery is influenced by drugs. Tapos 24.1% naman for some assaults. Tapos 26.2% for aggravated assault, 23.5% for simple assault, 56% for robbery. Then robbery kasi kaya sinasabi minsan na 56 or 24.3 kasi alam mo yun, yung tipong para may pambili ka ng droga, gagawin mo ang lahat para magkapera. Magnanakaw ka, ano ba? Basta mga hostage or anything para lang may pambili ng droga. Then kagaya ng weapons violation, 56% nun is drug influence. Tapos yung mga burglary, mga akit bahay, 55% of them is influenced by drugs. Tapos yung iba nagnanakaw ng kotse, tapos binebenta para at least magkapera, magkaroon ng pambili ng drugs. So 55% of them was using illegal dangerous drug. Tapos after that, we're able to tackle chapter 8. Kasi ang last module na nakapost lang po dito sa CPCDI 8 is hanggang chapter 8. And for the chapter 8, it talks about conducting a drug investigation. So on this chapter, sa chapter 8, we're able to know the goal of drug investigation. tapos kung paano, kailan, saan, at sino yung mga involved for conducting drug investigation. Then, let's go ahead and identify first what is the goal of drug investigation. So, there are just two goals of drug investigation. The first one is arresting the drug dealers. Okay, para hulihin yung mga drug dealers. And then the second one is taking or seizing assets gained through criminal and illegal measures by those drug dealers. So, para makuha yung mga assets and everything that related to drugs na meron yung drug dealers. For example, sa isang bypass, may involvement ng pera, devices, cellphone, laptop. So, yun, kinukumpiska natin yan. So, those are the goal of drug investigation. Kinukumpiska natin yun as our evidence and as part of the investigation. And also, para makatulong to na tawag nito, masampahan ng kaso yung taong hinulihan at nakuhaan natin ng mga ganon, because some of them are used to be our as paraphernalia. Kasi yun nga, gaya ng sabi ko sa'yo, lahat ng mga gamit na nakukuha during bypass or sa paghuli is kinukuha natin. Okay, and yep, like what I mentioned earlier, we're able to identify kung sino who conduct a drug investigation, tapos how are drug investigations conducted, then yung process of investigation, tapos the distinction between investigative task and investigative thinking. Parang ano lang yan yung investigative task and investigative thinking is parang intelligence and information. We know information are raw data that we gather from people and from evidences based on our investigation. Now, intelligence is the main information that we gathered from raw data. So, kumbaga, hindi na siya raw data. So, that's the main information. Yun na yung mismong mga idea and info na nakuha natin after analyzing those evidence, those testimonies and hearsays from people na nakausap natin. So, kasi investigative task is about identifying physical evidence. So, that's the information. That's the raw data. It's all about gathering information, evidence collection, evidence protection, and evidence examination, witness interviewing, and suspect interviewing and interrogation. So, it's about raw information or raw data. Then, for investigative thinking, that's about analyzing the information collected, analyzing the results of the forensic examination, developing theories of what happened, and progression of the information that we gather. So that's the intelligence. Yun na yung pinaka data or info after the results are analyzing. So yun, we're able also to understand the progression of the investigative process. So, yun lang po yung pinaka natutunan ko for the whole time sa drug education and vice control. Sa reactions, I'm not quite sure if may bibigay akong reaction kasi okay, I mean negative reaction, wala akong negative reaction, pero positive reaction ang dami kasi I'm a working student and yung klase kay sir is like 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So, ang tapos kasi ng klase ko, ng office ko is 7:30 a.m. Tapos nakakauwi ako ng bahay ng 10 a.m. So, walang tulog-tulog, diretso agad kay sir. Tapos, alam mo yung tipong inaantok ka na kasi pagod ka galing trabaho, pero nakakaganang pumasok kasi he was able to identify kung paano yung approach na dapat ginagawa niya for every student na meron siya. Although 100 plus kami, pero nagawa niyang i-handle and ipasok sa utak namin lahat ng mga kailangan namin malaman with regards of drug education and vice control, and kudos ako doon. Okay ako doon. Ang galing ni sir. Sobra. Na handle niya yung ganun na way. Kasi yung iba, hindi ko naman inano, pero wala naman akong babanggitin ng pangalan, pero yung ibang teacher sumusuko, hindi kinakaya kasi 100 students, tapos kailangan mong alamin kung paano yung approach na gagawin mo. Then at the same time, ang galing magpasunod, and may leadership na nangyayari talaga pagdating kay sir. Talagang hindi siya kinakain ng estudyante, and wala akong nakitang nambastos sa kanya during Zoom meeting, kasi meron yung iba kinakain-kayanan na lang ng mga estudyante, yung mga teacher. And then aside from that, hindi ko napansin na boring yung klase ni sir. Although minsan hindi natin maiwasan na makatulog tayo sa dala ng pagod at antok, pero yung pagiging boring ng interaction, hindi. Kasi kwela, joker din si sir. Tapos magaling pa kumanta. Okay. Then for suggestion siguro, kung 100 plus kami, sana from the very start ng klase, hinati na kami into 2 set A and set B. Although sa ibang subject kasi namin, by set kami, set A and set B. So 3 times a week ang meeting, MWF. Pero kay sir kasi isang araw lang din, 3 hours. Siguro magandang ginawa niya nung umpisa is set A and set B, kaso late na kasi nagawa. So okay pa rin naman, at least na-apply siya kahit na late na. Pero yun nga, yun lang yun naman suggestion ko. So yun lang po, and thank you for the whole time, kasi ang dami kong natutunan po. And that's all. Again, thank you. This is Aaron Paul Requis.